Welcome to Sweatpants and Neckties, a podcast brought to you by Interlink Mortgage. Sweatpants and Neckties shares authentic stories with valuable business lessons that improve your professional and personal life.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sweatpants and Neckties.
Yes.
Got my CEO and partner Gene Thompson.
Morning.
And myself, James Durham, head of sales, SVP. I don't really know what my title is, Gene.
Dude, you're a get her done. That's what.
Get her done. There you go. Get her done. Whatever it takes. I cannot make coffee though. I know that.
We're working on that. It is not one of your strong suits.
Yep. Take it out of my check.
The effort's not.
We go through extra filters and coffee grounds when I jack it up, and Taylor has to remake it. But either way, we're here for another episode. Man, we're in that weather phase right now in Houston where you don't know if you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be 90 and beautiful, if it's gonna be 40 and wet, or if it's gonna be somewhere right in between. But that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah, what do they say? If you live in Texas, you don't like the weather, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, it's sure to change, right?
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
That's why everybody's sick around here.
I know it. Which that has been going around too. We've had a lot of people at the schools been out with flu that's been running around. We knock on wood.
Your bride was down.
She was. Yeah, she went down hard, but she came out fast.
Well, that's because she's ornery.
Yeah, and when she came out fast, no kidding. And baby, I love you. You're awesome. You do a lot for our family. But the kids were sitting out there, and we knew she felt better because she came out of the back room before she ever even got to the kitchen where the kids were eating breakfast. The to-do list was being doled out, and Rosie kind of looked at me and she was like, I liked her better when she was sick. So we're glad to have her back full force. Things are getting done and moving at the Durham house again, because there for about 3 days you'd have thought we were on vacation. Kids kind of going to bed when they want. I'm pretty sure the sugar content went way up in that time.
You were in charge.
But she's back.
I see your dad here.
She's back. So we're glad she's back. And luckily none of us went down with it so far. So we'll see. But
yes, sir.
What's been going on in your world?
Well, we got a lot happening in Washington.
Yeah.
That's been interesting to watch unfold. No lack of chaos, kind of like the mortgage business, right? I mean, we can relate. It's spilled over into the mortgage business, right? Into our world, not just with chaos and rates and inflation and all that. It's a whole tired topic, but specifically to the CFPB, that's not a tired topic.
Oh yeah. I'll chase that rabbit one day.
Yep. So big changes all around in Washington. Some that'll affect the mortgage business directly. Some that'll affect us as Americans. Some that'll affect the country. Some that are affecting people internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Being from the mortgage world, we love chaos, and now we've got chaos every single day, but things are happening.
Yeah. On the CFPB thing, real quick, I know we're not going to chase that rabbit today, but you did. I thought it was pretty funny. You sent out an email and on the branch manager call, because we had folks immediately raising their hand.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean? Can we close this afternoon? No, you still have TRID. And you said just because the sheriff's on vacation doesn't mean you don't have to follow the law.
That's right. The law still exists.
That's right.
The sheriff's on vacation.
That's right. So for anybody out there who thinks the CFPB being gone means that there's no rules, that's not accurate.
That is a farce.
There's still rules. There's just
at least today.
Yeah.
At least.
But I read something. On it. It didn't come out of the good Bible book, so I don't know how accurate it was or not. But I think it was on LinkedIn. And they were talking about the states. Or the AGs at the state level are beginning to raise their head and take on some of that role.
To your point, that's kind of been the moniker, right? Is that even if the individuals at the federal level are dismantled, it may not be what everybody thinks it's going to be, because the states are going to take care of it at the local level, which may not, in some instances, may not be necessarily a positive.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, I would think in that world, especially for smaller companies like ourselves, they're all of a sudden on the radar, where the CFPB thing was, they were going after the biggest and the baddest to try to make an example and get the most fine.
Right.
At state level, you know, I think they're going to make sure everybody's nose is clean.
That's a good point.
Would be my guess. So, but anyway, it'll end up being whatever it is.
Yeah.
Good thing is we play by the rules, so we don't wake up with a lot of.
As long as we know the rules, we can play by them.
We got other anxieties that we have, though, for sure. One of which is our topic for today. And just to kind of give a slight disclaimer, Gene and I, we agreed and committed prior to this episode recording that we're just going to be straight up honest with our feelings about this topic.
Yeah.
If it's too over the edge, in full disclaimer, you're never going to know, because we're going to review this episode before it releases. So if you're hearing this, then it at least passed our second listen test.
Yes,
which I think is good to know, because we definitely want to be respectful. We don't want to say something out of haste that doesn't come across the way we intend it to.
It's like they say when you write an email, right? Write an email, read it before you send it.
Yeah. There's a few people I'd like to make sure that you heed that advice. I'm probably one of them, actually. But anyway, let's jump in. That topic is recruiting.
Yes, sir.
So obviously recruiting is a huge focus of ours. It's a big focus for most companies out there today, because the market isn't really allowing you to go organically do a lot more loans than whatever you're doing today. I mean, there is a little room to move that needle with each individual. We can always control our efforts, but the way to really grow an organization today is to acquire good talent that's doing good business in this environment and add it to your organization. That's the way to grow. So it's a big topic, but there's also a lot of things that I don't think get spoken about a lot with recruiting. The truth of the obstacles and the struggles and frankly what I would have to say, the bad actors that have been out there for more than several years, that even when you do things the right way and when you say something you do intend to deliver on it, we still pay for those sins of others at times, and it can be frustrating, frankly.
Sure is.
So
anyone that says recruiting is easy has probably never done it. It is extremely difficult. It's a laborious process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And to your point, you know, it changes like the market, right? The landscape changes, and that's no more evident today than it has been in the past. You know, a prime example would be, you mentioned the fact that because of the constrictions in the overall market itself, which we don't independently control. To your point, we control our efforts. You can't, you know, people do make markets don't make people, but there's still a market.
Mm-hmm.
And so growth comes by way of acquiring talent, right? Loan officers, producing branch managers, regional managers that have followings, mergers and acquisitions, which we're getting ready to see a lot more of this year again.
Yeah.
But the one thing that is indisputable is that it appears that irrespective of the level of your production today, if you are a loan officer in the mortgage business, you are getting 5 phone calls, it appears, a day, some more, because everyone is out there trying to grow their business in the same capacity, the same manner, and because the market is as tight as it is, that's where all the focus is. And companies, including ours, have doubled down on that effort, which the truth of the matter is, I don't know is a positive for our industry.
Yeah.
Because it makes it I mean, as an originator, right? I mean, I have a day job, right? I mean, I've got to originate loans. I've got to mine for my leads. I've got to make my sales calls. I got to return calls to customers and my referral sources. I got to manage my pipeline and all the things I got to do to do my day job. And I'm getting multiple calls every single day from all walks of life in the mortgage business, and it appears that no longer is. It's more of a nuisance than it is a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Quite frankly,
Yeah.
And it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to have conversations with extremely good people that you believe belong at your organization, and having the opportunity to explain them the why and the vision and what's in it for them and all of those things. And it gets extremely, extremely frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think about it, there's been some specific situations that we've had, where we've had unique opportunities that we've targeted, which is normally not our MO to target what I would consider, more of the lower level producer. We generally, we have a very high, average fundings per year per LO. We kind of are the guys that drive in the left lane, right? But we've had some opportunities where we needed some lower producing loan officers to fill some roles where we had some production that we needed someone that was good at being a loan officer, maybe not great at going out and just burning the world up in sales, but really good as a loan officer. and I've been humbled by the fact that, man, there's some of those individuals, they don't even return a text. And I don't think it's because I think it's because they're tired from the sheer number of solicitations they've gotten. And I think they're tired of having the solicitations that have a lot of sizzle on the front end and then fall completely flat on the back end.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was alluding to earlier, was that, man, there's a lot of companies, we're not going to name any today on this show, like by name. You know them. I'm sure you do. And your set of companies that you put in that category may be different than mine, but at the end of the day, they're there and you know it. But there's a lot of companies that promise the world up front, have zero intention of delivering that on the back end. They're just looking for the combination of promises they can make to get you to a point to say yes, and then they're going to do whatever they were going to do from Jump Street. They just wanted your name on the bottom of a contract. And the problem with that is it doesn't normally take those individuals long being at those organizations to realize they're not getting delivered what they were promised, but typically they're under some kind of a contract that puts them there for a couple of years.
Or either that, it's just hard to move.
Yeah, it's hard to move.
Right?
It's
as an originator, you move a company, and then you've got to rebrand.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to make sure that everyone has your new contact information and everybody knows that you moved and why you moved, and your referral sources got to know and trust in the fact that you're going to still be able to get their things done, and there's long-term benefit in that for them and their business as well. And I mean, it is a process. It's not just, hey, I got a new name tomorrow. I mean, I understand that referral partners do business with people. 100%. That's the value of a loan officer. But it's still disruptive, right? Even if it is a better opportunity for everybody. And that's not lost on us for sure. And I don't think it's lost on a lot of other good companies out there. But to your point, there are organizations out there that are just selling flat out nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got recruiters or business development folks selling flat out nonsense. And the thing that gets me the most about it is everybody, adults make these decisions to make change, right? And everybody has to be responsible for the decisions that they make. But when you are knowingly putting someone in a situation that you don't intend to adhere to what you have told them, one, or they are not cut out for the situation that you're putting them in. And what you are doing is tempting them with their ability on a piece of paper to do something that it appears that no other good mortgage company in the market can create for them, just you. And take $1 and stretch it to $3.50. And then putting that individual who was perfectly well taken care of where they were at, and maybe had other opportunities if they weren't, right? And they end up making this decision because of a good pitch that someone can take their $1 and turn it into $3.50. And then they get in that situation, and not only does their $1 not turn into $3.50, the $1 that they had before they made the determination to make that move, that $1 turns into 75 cents, right? And what you've effectively done is taken someone and put them in a worse situation for them, their family, the people that count on them. That irritates me to no avail. To no avail.
Yeah.
I would much rather not get a candidate than have them come to an organization, this organization, and not be able to fulfill the promises that we made to them 100 times and 1,000 times on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's the
you're just messing with people.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing, right? The frustrating thing is that if you know you're being accurate and you know somebody else is not being accurate, how do you bridge that gap with a candidate, right? We don't have the answer. Today's not the great reveal of that answer. Sorry.
The blue pill.
Yeah, but it is real, right? And then when those individuals do decide, all right, I'm not staying here because it's not what they told me. I'm either out of my contract period, or maybe they just don't give a rip and they're willing to walk on that and pay the money back they got up front or whatever got them hooked. Man, unfortunately, those individuals look at every company they're looking at going forward with the trauma of having their trust broken previously, right?
And you can't blame them.
And you can't blame them.
Everybody's painted with the same brush after that.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is that has transpired for so long in this business that's not 100% new.
Yep.
Right. Certainly not 100% new, and it's also created this other subculture of, I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to go do my 2 years, and then I'm going to put myself back in the transfer portal. And you never give yourself a chance to
thrive,
to be where your feet are. Something that, a phrase that we've used for years. You never give yourself a chance to be where your feet are. And so you don't ever know what you don't ever know what the potential is where you're at, because you don't give it enough effort.
Yeah.
It could be worth 3 times what the individual down the street's offering you to come work for them for the next 2 years. You never give yourself an opportunity to figure it out.
Right.
And there are some people in college sports that live in the transfer portal. That's just part of it. And there are some people that feel like they have to live there because they've been wronged by a coach, they've been wronged by a company or a leader, and they're not going to get taken advantage of again. And it makes it difficult for individuals that are trying to put people in the right position, in the right organization, for a win-win scenario, right? At the end of the day, we win when people close loans as a company, when they win when they close loans. A win-lose on our end is a bad deal. A win-lose on their end is a bad deal. But when you're trying to do things the right way, and it's not that we're perfect, we don't make mistakes. It's not that we've never made a commitment that we fell short on that we had to fix. That's life. The question is what is your intention? And what kind of character do you have in order to fix things in the event you fall short? It's that simple. Do what you say what you do. And that's a two-sided coin, right? If I hired you to do X, do X. If I told you that I would do Y, if I hired you to do X and you do X, it's my responsibility to do Y. I'm not doing Y, man, raise your hand, call us out.
Yeah.
That's the proverbial transparent two-way street. To me, that is much more important than I need you to tell me exactly what your margins are in order for me to come to work for you. What good does that?
So how do we fix that? In your opinion, how do you fix that mentality in the market of distrust? How do you fix that mentality of the transfer portal, the contracts that nail people down because they're taking big checks? How what's the answer to that? Is that opening up the Komodo of everything in the company is transparent? I personally don't believe that's the answer, right? That's like letting the players in the coaches meetings, right? There's a reason there's coaches meetings.
I think that creates more issues than it solves problems. I don't know that I have if I had a solution, we would be sitting here complaining about it. But I think ultimately, in the game itself, I'm a firm believer you do things the right way for the right reasons, and eventually you're going to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it precludes you from immediate satisfaction. It can create frustrations when it's like it's like playing a soccer game and getting irritated because the other team's cheating, right? At the end of the day, I'm not the referee, right? I can only control my actions and our players, and we're going to play the game the right way, and we're going to have the right intentions, and we're going to do it with high character and high morals. And if you got to cheat to win, man, you may win today, but you ain't going to beat me forever.
Yeah.
That's a really philosophical answer, and it doesn't change the issue, but it's the only one I got.
Yeah, no, I think that shows the character, right? Like, look, at the end of the day, there's not a gray area. It's either your intentions are genuine and you're going to do everything you can to deliver on the promises, or you're not. And the or nots are going to have their wins. The ones
Sure.
that intend to do it the right way are going to have to be. We're going to have to get to the point where we don't let their wins stifle our ability to stay focused on what we do, right?
Yes,
i.e.,
well said.
we don't spend our time talking about this every day of every week. We can do a podcast, get it off our chest. That's part of why we're doing this. Is like, we're going to talk about it. It's like our therapy session, right? We're going to get it out, and then we're going to move on to doing it the way that we know the right way to do it is. And we don't have to cheer on their wins, but we darn sure don't have to sit there and sulk in them either.
No.
We can go do it our way. I think that's one. I think two is we got to guard the gate, right? And what I mean by that is we got to continue to do a good job getting in front of enough good people that we have the ability to determine, do they really fit our culture and character as well?
Yeah.
Because if they do, they're going to resonate with that, and we're going to be able to build trust with them, that they can deep down know that long term we have their best interest in mind, and that we want them to win, and we want to deliver on everything that they expect of us. That's what drives us, and we make the decisions on who we bring onto the team based on that connection, based on that synergy, based on that common belief. And if we do that, we have the ability to build the organization with people that don't have a propensity to look to the transfer portal every 2 years.
Right.
We have the right people that we're able to have communication with and do budgets with and talk about goals and talk about strategies to reach them that are within the confines of doing it the right way. And I think that's part of it too. It takes discipline, takes some grit.
And the truth of the matter is, look, Interlink isn't the only company that does it the right way.
Yeah,
we can name more companies that do it the right way, and they've got great leadership and great culture and have intention. They're great competitors of ours. They have intention of what they're doing. So it's not, we're certainly not sitting here saying that
we're the only ones.
Yeah.
No.
No. But we're doing is we're willing to share the frustrations that everyone else is having that may not be talked about openly at this very moment. And that's just the way that it is. It's not gonna. It doesn't change the facts that we've all got to deal with it, and we'll find our solution and push through it. But it does provide frustration, frustration that we know others share, that gets talked about in back rooms, and no one's won't talk about it openly. So why not?
Yeah, and this I think this was in a men's group that I get to be part of, and we were talking about frustration. This is more life, not business, but it can apply to business. But where you get frustrated and you end up getting negative, and you end up letting that kind of change your energy and your focus. When you find yourself in that, you also have to flip her over and think about all your blessings, right? Like all the things, and we do that often. I know you and I and Aaron and Jason and the rest of the team, we oftentimes sit around and we will just talk about all the good things that we have, right? Yeah. The people that we have. There's a lot of you listening today that are here at Interlink today that have been here for a long time, maybe a short time, but at the end of the day, we're thankful and grateful for you, and you guys are in that category of just awesome humans, awesome producers, support staff, operations that do it the right way.
That's what drives the bar, man.
That's what does it. And we're extremely fortunate. We get to see it every year at the rally. We get to see it every year when we go on the production trip and get to be around the caliber of individuals we have that are just good people.
This kind of frustration is a testament to those individuals.
Yeah.
From our perspective, those are the guys that and gals, ladies, gals. No one uses gal anymore.
They do. It's rodeo week.
It's
rodeo week in Houston. You can use
those gals. Are the men and women that set the bar and the standard, that live up to it every day at this organization. And it would be not the right thing. There's a better word for it, but I'm having a senior moment. The worst thing that we could do would be to compromise that.
Right. Yep.
Right. For the sake of growth.
Yeah.
It goes against who we are.
Yeah.
As an organization. Doesn't mean it's not frustrating.
Yeah. We've talked about it before. Culture is what we do not allow over the course of time, right?
That's right.
Which is what you're talking to.
That's right.
We don't allow ourselves to be pulled into that game, which ultimately will ruin it for the people we have today. And we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
We just won't. So,
but I feel better. I'm glad we got to.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got to grind our soup today.
You just got to get it out there. All right, what do we do from here? Well, now we move on and
we go back to work.
We focus on what we can control, doing it the right way. We got some exciting stuff in the marketing department. We brought on a new social media strategist, specialist that we're excited to have. Matter of fact, I think this week, first week of March, is when we're having this conversation. So depending on when you listen to this, you may already be seeing it. But we're super excited about her being able to get out there and kind of take our social media game to the next level, which is really just a presentation of doing a good job of who we are and what we do, and making sure that it's able to be seen in the right light out there, as well as just bring more information and content and honor to the people that we have.
That's right.
So I know the team's really excited about that, and we should start seeing those results, and maybe there will be more listeners to Sweatpants and Neckties. I know my mom listens, but
mine doesn't.
Yours does? What does that say about you? So probably says that you call her enough. My mom would say it's because that's the only time I get to hear your voice, son. So I need to call my mom more. But yeah, man, I've enjoyed it. The chit chat and kind of sharing that. Little pieces. There's a lot, man. We could chase recruiting for hours.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's a lot of positives to it, and it's actually a lot of fun. We enjoy it.
It's a game, man.
You get to meet a lot of people.
It's chase, right?
But man, I hope for you guys that are feeling similar frustrations that are listening to this gives you a little therapy. For those that don't feel those frustrations, maybe you got to ask yourself which Are you doing it right? I'm just kidding with you, but maybe so. But man, I hope
Call us and give us your secret.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hey, maybe we're just missing it. Oh no, we're willing to try something.
Never too smart to learn.
As long as it's not breaking the law. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of the month. We will be back with another episode. We do have a little special pilot program we're getting ready to pilot and to test, and it's really we're going to involve Erin, our COO, in that as well, because she brings a lot of color and energy to conversations. Not to mention she's really smart and really good at what she does, but she brings some extra color and things. And it's kind of the unplugged version. So much like this one, we're going to have to test run that one a couple times behind closed doors to make sure that
you get her unplugged. You better test it.
I'm telling you. You unplug her and you're looking for the other plug because it just doesn't stop. It keeps going. Like, where does she keep getting this from? I thought I unplugged her.
She's got it.
But we're going to test that out and talk about real topics in a real way. Obviously doing it in a way that's respectful of everybody out there that potentially may be listening, but at the same time, speaking from the heart and speaking the truth. So we will be back with that. I don't know that we have a name for it yet. We went with Gene's rant, but I'm not sure that that's going to make the final cut, but we'll see. But hope you guys have a great rest of the month. Thank you, Gene, for joining in again.
Yes,
and we will see you guys next time on Sweatpants and Neckties. Take care.
Guys.